Hello, everyone. My name is John Justin Pierce. I am currently finishing up my MAT Master's Program, Master of Arts in Teaching for Education Technology. Today, I'm going to be going over my thesis research project, which is on heightening motivation and engagement for students in the secondary high school level, specifically in the social studies discipline. As a credential candidate in social science myself, this is an area which I feel is very important in creating 21st century learners to be better prepared for the world that they're going to graduate into, which is why I took such an interest in this topic. I really think being able to utilize technology to prepare our students to be digital citizens is what's really going to make such a difference in our instruction and how much they get out of our content after our class. With that being said, I'd like to say that this project was written in the onset of distance only in 2020, which is actually the silver lining. It's a great way to test out new types of technology that you wouldn't, that many teachers may not have tried before to really create a more engaging atmosphere in an online distance learning environment. Just because we switch to an online distance learning environment doesn't mean you can't bring in constructivist styles through technology usage. And that's why I really chose this topic to really focus on for my MAT research project. So I'll be presenting my thesis in this form today, and we're going to be doing a little bit of an analysis. I did some research and a literature review. Within that literature review, I was answering the hypothesis of does technology usage in specifically social science education show an increase in student motivation and engagement? After my literature review, I saw that some promising characteristics that could then be transferred over into technology usage through instruction, such as using frames of knowledge and specifically cognitive domains, where students are able to activate their metacognition and then use higher levels of learning and thinking. These teach critical thinking skills, and these can all be transferred over through proper online technology usage. With that being said, the purpose of this study that I conducted was to go a little bit further than what I found in my literature review, which is because we see that there is a correlation between engagement motivation and constructivist technology usage. What we don't see is anything really further than that, where the gaps of literature really don't say what specific types of social science instruction techniques can you use that are going to be more effective with motivation and engagement rather than others. To measure that, I sent out a Google Forms sheet to and a research participation form to some of my students that I was able to teach during my student teaching experience this semester. And among those, I was able to measure lessons where I used three different types of instructional use, which was a cooperative learning lesson, an inquiry based lesson, and a gamification lesson. All three of which I'll get into later all have elements of technology implementation within them as a key factor. So, with that being said, what the research points out, as we'll go into later, is which one is really more important or it has shows some idea of better improvement for student motivation and engagement in the future. Okay. So this project was created for other educators studying pedagogy and especially social science educators looking to improve their craft and improve student motivation and engagement in the field. Now, this was a very small survey of students that I was able to survey and get back. I got a total of 56 responses based on my teachings, implementing the different lesson plans with technology usage and motivation. I think this can be used for further research. Should we have more researchers get on board one day and have a larger sample group, maybe across schools, of teachers using the same lessons and see how it plays out to get a more accurate sense? This was action research done by myself to improve my own practice, but it could be used in a wider lens later down the line. If that's something that interests you and you're watching me on YouTube, feel free to get in contact with me at john.pierce@laverne.edu. I would love to do some more research into that. There could also be more studies done on exactly what types of technology usage within these different frames, being cooperative learning, inquiry-based learning, and finally gamification work better than others specifically in those domains. So there's a lot of room for more research as well, but we do see some positive effects coming from this research project and my thesis. So this was created through Google Classroom in distance learning. I use Google Forms to kind of measure what their engagement and motivation levels were before and after, and to test the hypothesis of one being, does technology usage in social science education cause a net increase in motivation and engagement when utilized properly? And secondly, of these three different types of instruction that I talked about, which seems to work better with motivation and engagement? Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy my presentation.